want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right, so now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right, so that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you're going between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally. Because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Friday. Man, it's been a long week, ain't it? Friday, July 26, 2024, year of our Lord. Can we get a round of applause for everybody that made it to the end of the week? I just want to make sure that I acknowledge every single person that has been rocking with me, tapping in, making sure that you understand what we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. If you are new here, because we got some new people that's filing in, and so a lot of people haven't discovered me, but a lot of people are discovering me. I see I'm going viral on Twitter, unexpectedly going viral on Twitter. So we got all social media platforms on fire right now. All right. But the one thing that I guarantee y'all, and two things is for certain, is that I never, ever, ever abandon the people that has been with me since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that was on a smoke show last night on After Hours. Let me give y'all that right there. Yeah, man. I'm starting a show maybe like an hour later than usual because I needed that extra hour of sleep. I wound up live streaming till like 1 in the morning last night with the smoke show. And obviously a lot of y'all did see it and some of y'all may not have seen it because you may not be subscribed to that channel. So if you want to go and see the smoke show, it's on After Hours with Anton Daniels. That is on the internet live right now, unedited. We're going to do it again tonight. We're going to do it again tonight. I got a flight to catch because you know I got a meetup up in Houston with all of the bag chasers. So if you are not a Patreon member, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. For those of you that's new here that don't understand what the bag chasers and the Patreon is, it's a group of people that is going in the direction that you're going in. We talk about a lot. We talk about money, stock club, mastermind sections, interviewing, leveling up in corporate America. We do meetups. We talk about real estate. I break down and show you exactly what it is that I make on social media, what I make on my day job, all of that. So all of that information is in there. And then also, in addition to that, we actually meet up in person. So this first meetup of the year is going to be in Houston. Shout out to all of my Houstonians that's out there that's going to be showing love. I'm going to be out there tomorrow. Tomorrow night is popping. Do not share the location with people that are not a part of the bag chasers. Yes, you can bring a +1. No, you cannot share the location because it's only for the chasers, all right? Every single city that we go to is popping. Every single city that we go to is lit. So it's only good energy, and we only rock with good people and people that have good character. So if you are a chaser, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Houston. Shout out to y'all. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. That link is in the description. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Now, I do have to issue an apology. Because I use a certain streaming software, when my connection went out yesterday, I was not able to read the super chats. I was not able to read the super chats. It was like 90 super chats that I did not get a chance to read. And so I have to issue my sincerest apology. Even though it was a software issue, the end of the stream cut off, my connection cut off by mistake. And so it just prematurely ended. So I do want to issue an apology to everybody that I wasn't able to acknowledge because I don't ask for the super chats, but I do like to acknowledge the people that support the platform. So I thank you. I appreciate you. Hopefully you accept that humble apology because I really do rock with the people that rock with me, all right? So I do want to issue that apology. And then I do want to actually say what up to everybody in the chat, everybody that's newly subscribed. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are. So shout out to y'all. We're going to do it again tonight. I want to acknowledge the early super chatters of this show, and I also want to acknowledge the Cash Appers. So shout out to Brian Hunter. I appreciate you, big dog. Says most definitely awesome. Forget the lame dudes. Shaman Carney said, I got this 11 ball for you. Thank you. Mike That Dude is always showing love. Shout out to Mike That Dude. And then let me acknowledge some early super chats because I got a full show put together for you guys today, Monday through Friday, every single weekday. Alex Oubre, shout out to Alex, says, I'm ready to apply to the AD Falk Ninja Secret Service protection. I protect AD from all weirdos. You're not going to touch the Godfather. Am I the Godfather now? I know I'm Nate Papa because I've been creating an ecosystem of all of these different people that's able to eat as a result of me. Shout out to Alex. I appreciate you, bro. Hey, send me an email, bro. Send me an email right now so I can tap in with that. Spaces is in the building, says, taking off, headed to Houston. See y'all soon. I can't wait to see you in Houston, big dog. Brandon Oliphant says, morning, I'm halfway through the smoke show, and it baffles me how individuals can call up and not have smoke in a respectful way. I promise more can be understood if done effectively. Communication is an art. The ability to be able to communicate something, you can say anything to anybody if you say it the right way. But because I like to meet people with the same smoke they meet me with, I got time. Shout out to my dog, Brandon. And then my dog, the first 100 ball today. Shout out to Ricky Free in the building, says morning Anton and the Chasers. This is my first super chat. So you going to hit us with 100 on the first one? Let me give him a round of applause again. This is my first super chat. I'm from Houston, been rocking out with you for about a year now and just joined the Patreon 2 months ago. Last night's show was straight fire. Hope to shake your hand at this weekend's meetup. I guarantee you'll shake my hand. I guarantee you. And I'm more of who I am online in person, so I have to tone it down online. But in person, I'm the most lovable person that you ever gonna meet in your entire life. Can't wait to meet you, Ricky. Thank you for supporting the platform and thank you for always rocking out with us. It's something else that, I also want to say this. Thank you guys for always having my back and holding me down. And I say that because sometimes even when it seems like I'm ready to crash out, you guys say, Anton, don't do that. Don't fumble the bag. They may be a Fed. You got too much to lose as a result of this. Who you got something to prove to? So when somebody last night said, yeah, man, I'll meet you. I'll pull up in y'all city. And I went back and I restreamed it this morning as I was getting ready. I had to check myself and then acknowledge the people, because this is one of the reasons why you need a great community around you, because they're going to hold you accountable in the right way and protect you from yourself. So I promise to you, I am not going to fumble the bag. And I thank you. I thank you to my community. I thank you to my chasers. I thank you to everybody that subscribed to the channel. I am not about that life. We got out of the hood so that we wouldn't have to continue to do hood behavior. And now we are more educated, we're richer, we have families, we dedicated to people, we employ people, and ain't nobody about to crash out for these dusty. So shout out, give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna read the super chat shortly. And y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, I got a full show for y'all today. You know what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about Michelle Obama. We're gonna talk about Barack Obama. We're gonna talk about Kamala Harris failing at the border, Obama's endorsement. We absolutely think that was we seen it coming, but we're going to talk about why that's happening. Real estate fraud is happening. A woman gets divorced and have to start over. And California is issuing a ban on homelessness. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits. So Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to dedicate an entire segment to each individual subject, but we definitely want to keep you guys informed on what's happening in these streets. All right? Y'all ready to get it started? Let's get it popping. So thank you, Mr. Lot, for holding me down. I appreciate you. For the super chat, I'm definitely going to be reading that shortly. One of the people that I coach. Let's tap in, y'all. Dallas, police officers have to shoot armed suspect and people that led them on a police chase after 2 police vehicles was rammed. Check it out, y'all.
New video we're going to share with you tonight that is going to show you a chaotic series of events all happening in just a matter of seconds. Police were tracking a stolen vehicle this afternoon. They collide, as you see here, and then 4 guys jump out and they take off running. But that is just part of and the beginning of the story. As Aaron Jones explains, police then opened fire on those men, and it all went down at a Northeast Dallas apartment complex.
Michelle Gonzalez says around 1 p.m. Thursday, she heard a crash outside her apartment and came outside.
And then there was like 4 or 5 cops running out this way, shooting out. Yeah, it's definitely a scary situation.
The incident is shown here on home surveillance video. You can see masked suspects. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia says undercover officers tracked a stolen car to the back of Lakeside Apartments in North Dallas. He says when patrol officers approached, 4 people were inside the truck and the driver took off.
Did dude get ran over right there? It seemed like he just got narrowly under the car in the right way. He couldn't get out because he fell out of the car. Everybody else ran, and the police officers had to go and chase these guys. Hey, can we get a round of applause for the Dallas police? I know that they're trying to defund the police all across the nation, but every time I see that these people are putting their lives on the line in order to keep us safe and to make sure that crime is not out of control, shout out to the Dallas police, I have to give them a round of applause because they are the ones that's on the front line of preventing our stuff from getting stolen, our cars from getting broken into, our homes from getting broken into, our children being safe. They are the ones that are on the front lines every day. I know that all the time that we like to give all of the credit to the military members, and the military members absolutely deserve all of the credit in the world. But I also want to acknowledge the police officers, not the bad ones like the one that shot Sonia Massey the other day, because that's one individual that deserves to be under the jail, but the ones every single day that police our communities, that live, work, and play, and is underpaid by our taxpayers while we have our politicians sending all of this money over to Ukraine and stuff like that. I want to give a shout out to the police officers that's out here taking care of business, putting their lives on the line, and ensuring that criminals is not getting away. We don't need to defund the police. We need to continue to fund the ones that protect our community. I want to give them a shout out before we continue with the show.
Striking 2 of their vehicles.
At one point, officers fired their weapons at an armed suspect. We then found a firearm near the area where the shooting occurred. The suspect continued to flee northbound, and ended up getting apprehended. He was taken to the hospital. He is expected to survive.
I saw them shooting.
Good. Now he can do his time like a man if it's firing at a police officer over a stolen vehicle.
I have my 2 kids at home, so that really just shook me. I had to go inside and get my kids, make sure that they were good, not around the windows or anything.
No officers were injured. Chief Garcia says the suspects were armed and police recovered 3 weapons.
Something like our movie, really. I wasn't expecting to wake up this afternoon and see all the cops out there like that.
2 other suspects were taken into custody at the scene. One was injured and taken to the hospital in stable condition. One suspect got away.
And we will continue to do this investigation to try to
I hope they snitch on him so they can capture him too.
Locate that suspect. And also one of the suspects that was arrested in the stolen vehicle that fled was wanted out of the city of Dallas for a murder warrant.
He said,
and this would never happen in Chicago. This would never happen in Chicago. They don't support their police officers. We support the police officers nationwide. Great job over there in Dallas. I don't care how small or petty the crime is. I want them on the job. We support them. And we don't support police officers going in and killing women in their homes unwarranted, but we absolutely support our police officers keeping us safe every single day. So shout out to the Dallas police officers again. We appreciate you. Also, on top of that, a man, and this obviously it always disturbs me when I see anything related to children, but a man is accused, an Uber driver is accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. Check it out.
A rideshare driver was released from jail 5 days after his arrest for sexual assault of a child, a 12-year-old passenger. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. So the girl was using a service called Uber Health. The company says the driver went through background checks. Fox 4's Alex Boyer breaks down the timeline of what happened. Alex.
Hey guys, we learned some additional details today. Plano police say that suspect was working, as you mentioned, for something now called Uber Health. He was a driver for them when he picked up that 12-year-old girl back on July 9th. We know that she was in the Uber alone. Now, 31-year-old Robert Johnson III is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child. He bonded out of jail yesterday, 5 days after his arrest. Plano police say he picked up the girl from a medical facility in Frisco and was supposed to take her directly to her mom's house in Plano.
I've never heard of Uber Health. Have y'all ever heard of Uber Health before? Let me try to pull this up on the app. I've never heard of Uber Health before in my life. I've heard of Uber Eats, right? Regular Uber, catching a ride. I've heard of Uber Black, Uber X, Uber Comfort. I've never heard of Uber Health before in my life. Let me play this while I look for this app, because I don't know what this is.
Instead, investigators say Johnson pulled into the parking lot of a business located in the 4200 block of Legacy Drive and allegedly sexually assaulted her in the car before dropping her off. A police affidavit describes the incident in graphic detail. He allegedly told her not to tell anyone or there would be, quote, issues. The girl told her mom the next day. Plano police addressed what a lot of people are asking, why a 12-year-old girl was traveling in a rideshare alone.
Between the facility and Uber Health, they say that this is a great way to get your child to and from locations when maybe you don't have the means to do so. The mother thought that she was doing the right thing. She thought that they would have done the right thing. Unfortunately, no matter how many things are done right, these predators are still going to infiltrate these systems, whether...
You know what the worst part about this is? You know why we about to be taken over by robots and artificial intelligence? Is because the humanistic aspect of things absolutely ruin it for everybody. So whereas you can do all of the background checks that you want, you can do all of that, whatever. It just means that whoever it is that's doing some of the most egregious things, they just ain't been caught yet. Maybe they got these nasty thoughts. Maybe they out here about to switch over to being a part of the alphabet community. Who knows? Maybe they're about to add another letter to the alphabet community to include pedos. I don't know. But the one thing that I do know is two things is for certain is that I'm conflicted personally. I'm conflicted. And the reason that I'm conflicted is because I believe in the justice system. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. But it's very difficult to believe in innocent until proven guilty when you're talking about minors, 12-year-olds, young girls that's getting assaulted by grown men pulling over in the parking lot and then telling them not to say anything or there's going to be problems or there's going to be trouble. It's very, very difficult when you start to talk about the most vulnerable amongst us, because as a father of a girl, I will crash out. I will absolutely, positively crash out when it comes to mine and my youngin'. 100%.
If he didn't even have, bad background, whatever it is, he made that decision to, assault a child on that day.
And in a statement to Fox 4 News.
We don't need to read all of that. We know what's going on. It's very bad out here in these streets. So I will tell y'all to make sure that y'all protect y'all friends and family. If you can, keep two parents inside of the household to make sure that y'all work together to make sure y'all youngest and the most vulnerable among y'all are protected. And just know that demons are walking around in human form and they're looking to do the worst of the community. Last but not least, rising concerns over repossessions and mortgage defaults are in effect. Take a look.
Oh, the list is long. The cost of the cars we drive, the apartments we...
Ooh, she kind of pretty. I like the way she rocking out. Okay, baby girl. Long legs, no care, good knees. Right? Good knees, good elbows, nice neck matching the face. We rocking with it.
Rent, the homes we own, the cost all going up and away. And now it's causing a concerning upward trend in car repossessions and defaults on home loans.
So what can be done to protect your biggest investments? Let's get to consumer investigator Hank Winchester.
Whether it's the price of your morning coffee or paying for your vehicle, the cost of almost everything, it seems to be going up. This morning, a real look at the real numbers and what you can do to control those costs.
Eggs, milk, everything. I go in the Hollywood market and get 2 bags and I spend over $50.
Andrew Ballard, like many of us, dealing with these difficult economic times. Whether it's groceries or his car, he's making some changes.
I have a pre-owned car right now, the 2014. Just got done paying off here a few years ago.
So you're going to keep that until it goes.
You bet.
Car, rent, and real estate prices are soaring. People feeling the pinch, but that doesn't mean that deals can't be found, especially right now in the used car market.
We've been kind of teetering the last few years with the prices of the cars, up one month, down the next month. But right now we got about 94 cars in inventory.
The average vehicle price, though, right now across the country, about $48,000.
That's insane. It's absolutely insane. 100%. It's not going to change until y'all absolutely change y'all spending habits. But more importantly, this is one of the things that they don't want to talk about. And they want to keep telling y'all that, oh man, we got plenty of jobs and unemployment is at a record low, but not wages. Inflation has been killing y'all for years now. Y'all absolutely is losing. Look, they don't want to have a conversation about the rising mortgage defaults and the repossessions that's happening in our communities. You know why? Because they got to keep that part under wraps. If they can distract you and keep you engaged on the latest killing by the police officer that's always highlighted every 4 years around election time, if they can keep y'all engaged on identity politics, then they can distract y'all from the fact that y'all real life slaves to the dollar. You're a slave to the fact that you can't even live the lifestyle, and the American dream is slipping through your fingers every single day because you don't even have the ability to raise multiple different children. You know, one of the reasons why they left the border open, one of many reasons, is because they know that y'all can't afford to continue to have children. One of the reasons why they left the borders open is because we need a new slave class to work these jobs. And they know that we need an influx of people into this country to do the things that you don't want to do, because we no longer want to work for the wages that they are giving us or they are giving you guys. And so as a result, what they've done is they've let an influx of people come over here, get licensed. They paid for them. They made sure that they had healthcare coverage, going to your schools, learning English, getting hotel rooms, getting medical coverage and everything like that, because you can't even afford to breathe. You can't afford to breathe. Y'all was against getting married and having roommates. You're going to have to in order to be able to survive unless you change your lifestyle at some point. But they don't want this to be a part of the conversation. Two things that they're trying to hide. They don't want to talk about the price of goods and services and you being able to survive off the same wages despite the cost going up. And they don't want to talk about immigration, but we're going to get into immigration shortly.
Average auto loan just over 7%. But here's the shocker. Auto repossessions right now up 23% from last.
Up 23%. That means that you had in your car, and you know it's getting more difficult to have that car, right? Because it's now cloud. It's now based in the cloud. So they send an automatic update. They know exactly what the car is. They're not going to have trouble finding your car. They're just going to send it right to the repo man. The repo man going to wait till you go and park your car, or you're going to go get some gas. You're going to walk in the gas station, and he's going to hook it up. And he's going to be taking your car.
Last year at this time.
I always recommend looking online. You could type in, Michigan Credit Union best rates out there, and then, we could shop it from there.
When it comes to home repossessions, they too are soaring, and with low inventory, it remains a very aggressive seller's market.
At 3%, you might have been looking at around $1,200 on a $300,000 loan. Just now, if there's a reset, you're looking at probably $2,000 if it's up to 7%, which are the current rough terms.
Low ARM rates that were locked in during the pandemic, well, they're now expiring. Home insurance costs are on the rise, and so too are property taxes. It creates a concerning financial scenario.
I already broke down to y'all exactly how property taxes work and why they're raising y'all property taxes and your cities and your counties' inability to be able to manage their finances effectively. And so they then go to the well and they pass that cost over to the consumers. And so you guys are losing your homes. You can't afford to breathe no more. Your house wasn't really yours. You thought that you bought it, but in reality, if you didn't pay your property taxes, you was going to be losing it. Over there in Chicago and Cook County, they got property tax bills that has exploded up to 86%. People are losing their homes, they losing their cars, they losing their minds. But y'all keep voting a certain type of way. We're going to get into it. Don't worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let me read some of the super chats and we're going to really get into the show today. Shout out to Self-Made Forever. I appreciate you. Says Bag Chaser Friday. AD, did you see that A-Train was on that Compound V and pulled up on Fresh and Fit? I did not. Make sure y'all send that to me. Email that to me. Shout out to A-Train. Delta Fox in the building says, up early on the West Coast as I got to finish work early and I got a flight to Houston to catch. See y'all tomorrow. Shout out to all of the people that's going to be kicking it with me in Houston. I can't wait to shake y'all hand in person. My dog, Mr. Lott in the building with the 50 ball says, as always, salute to the Chasers. See y'all tomorrow. If y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. P. Shank in the building says, good morning, Anton and the Millionaire Morning Show. P. Shank also says, Mr. Anton, on your show yesterday regarding second mortgages, I thought your payments will increase. So how people didn't know that they weren't paying. So a lot of people are saying that their payments increase, but that can come from a lot of different things. It can come from an increase in property taxes that's held in escrow. It can come from an increase in insurance. You can have an ARM that then adjusts at an adjustable rate mortgage. But what they didn't get was the actual separate statement that is requiring for them to pay that extra mortgage that they take out or that refinance mortgage on that property. And so they let that lapse and then go over a number of years. And then eventually those people sold that debt for pennies on the dollars. They came and then they wanted that money immediately. And so it basically put them in a position to where they can repossess the property. So your payment can go up for a number of reasons, but you still got to pay it no matter what. You still got to pay it. They say ignorance is no excuse and that you still got to be responsible for what you do out here, all right? Shout out to P. Shank. I appreciate you. Sharik43 says, where's the Zoom you had with ABL the other day? It wasn't a Zoom. It was a live stream. So if y'all want the live stream, hey, one of the moderators, your car, drop that live stream in the chat for me if you can, or any of the moderators, to the Anton Daniels channel. So I'll run multiple different channels, 3 of them, including this, the Millionaire Morning Show. For those of y'all that's new here, I rock with the Anton Daniels channel, and then we do After Hours with Anton Daniels. That was on the Anton Daniels channel. We do a live stream every Monday night for those of you that are new here. And we tackle popular culture issues. One of the things that we tackled was Kamala Harris and the upcoming election and why women are voting a certain type of way. And so that live stream is still available and is still up on the Anton Daniels channel. Go and check your chat in order to be able to do that, and then subscribe to the channel because we go live every Monday, and then we drop content all throughout the week to make sure you guys stay informed on what's going on in popular culture. All right, great question, Sharik. I appreciate you. Miss Crotty Shetty, thank you for that collection plate donation. Thank you, my friend. And then last but not least, Day Trip says, my homeowner's insurance went up by 173%. You know, a lot of home insurers are basically pulling out of Florida and California and several different states, right? Be careful. It's rough out here in these streets. All right, y'all, we got to go ahead and get started with the show. I also want to acknowledge one of the Cash Appers. Shout out to ESDC. I appreciate you, big dog, on Cash App. Thank y'all to everybody that contributes into the platform. I don't ask for it, but I always like to acknowledge the people that's in here. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. So, top of the morning after Quick Hits, we got to discuss Barack Obama and his endorsement of Kamala Harris. Now, if you remember, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because we got to deep dive into her record as the borders are. If you guys remember, and I've been covering this for a long time as far as all the political news, Kamala Harris, the border crisis, and everything. Just less than a week ago, Obama was calling for a runoff, a real conversation, especially with the Democratic National Convention coming up, a real conversation based off of the idea that he didn't want to just outright endorse Kamala Harris. He said that he wanted to endorse the best person for the job. Now, that didn't disclude Kamala Harris, but what it did was it started a conversation around the idea that people are just willing to rally around whoever it is that can help them keep their job in these legislative branches. And more importantly, who could mobilize the majority of people based off of identity politics, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and emotion. Because we know that a lot of liberals, and I know because I come from an environment and a family that ultimately tried to convince us that we had to vote a certain type of way just because we black, which is one of the reasons why we have so many different conversations with people on these platforms. And I ask them, I say, hey, listen, so you voting for Michelle, right? And I'm going to tell you one of three reasons, or maybe I'll just tell you all three. I'll tell you the three reasons why people usually give me when they jump on these platforms, when we have conversations, or in person, and they say, Anton, you're wrong about voting for Trump, or you're wrong about being conservative. I say, okay, all right. Well, why are you voting for, at one point it was Biden and now it's Kamala Harris. I said, well, why are you voting for them? Because I'm always looking for them to give me some policy, some record of what they've done that's so awesome in the past. We can go back and we can look at 3.5 years of what Kamala Harris existed as inside of the White House over the last 3.5 years. And we say, well, what did she accomplish? Well, we knew that she failed miserably at the border. We know that for a fact. And we also know that she was traveling to different countries in order to push the alphabet community agenda, similar to what Obama is still standing on today, right? And so usually what they'll say to me is one of three things. They'll say, I don't like Trump. I get confused. So what do you mean you don't like Trump? What is that? Is that a reason to vote? So you don't actually believe in the candidate that you're voting for. You're voting for her because you hate him, even though he has a better record of the person that's in office right now. That's number one. The second thing that they say is, I'm voting for them because they're black. So they couldn't say that with Biden, right? So they just largely leaned on the first thing. They couldn't really say that with Biden. So now with Kamala Harris, even though she didn't claim black and she has no reason to go and give you anything or advocate for your vote by promising you anything. Remember Ice Cube gave y'all the platinum plan? And the Trump administration and the Republicans said, hey, well, listen, we want to discuss this with you. And the Biden administration said, we're going to come and kick it with you a little bit later. We're not really interested in talking about that right now. We got something else that we got to do. And that other thing that they had to do, the reason that they didn't want to discuss the platinum plan, because why wouldn't you then require something for your vote as individuals? Why would you just vote blindly based off of identity politics, acting like these people know you? These people ain't knowing you. Listen, these people don't know you any more than that lady on OnlyFans that you're giving your money to, than the woman on OnlyFans that you're giving your money to. They don't recognize you. They don't know you any more than all of the other simps that continue to give money into the coffers. They don't know you. You know what you look like to them? A vote. 1, 2, 3, 4. They look at you as a data point. You a social security number. You think that they identify with you like you identifying with them? I want to see one of our own in there. It ain't never did nothing for you. What have they done anything for you? What have Kamala Harris done for you except for lock you up? What did she do for you except for open up the borders for people to be able to take over your jobs and then ultimately force you to pay as a taxpayer for them to come in and kick your butt in your own sanctuary city? What did they give you except for 9% inflation and higher interest rates trying to tamp down inflation and then prevent you from being able to pay for your bills and then take care of your business? What did they give you? What did any of these people give you outside of more crime in your communities because they wanted to defund the police based off of continuing to parade something in front of you, and then your own communities got burned down as a result of supporting an organization like Black Lives Matters, who just so happen to be Marxist and ran by black lesbians? That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's what they said on their website. What did they give you? Listen, tell me one thing that they give you. You know what some people are going to say to me? Well, they forgave my student loans. Did they? Or did I? Because that came out of my money. So they allowed for you to not take responsibility for running in the Victim Olympics, getting a basket weaving degree, or spending $100,000 on African American studies instead of going into something that would actually add value into the community. And so you had a self-inflicted wound because you decided to take out a bunch of credit card debt and live on student loans on campus because you wanted to go out of state and party at an HBCU. And then we supposed to come back and forgive you for it, which then raises the national debt. And then on top of that, it doesn't continue to add more value into the community because you still got the same bad habits that you had when you was a teenager going into college and then wanting to party at that HBCU that Trump helped give more money than any other president in history, but we supposed to stand on what a Democrat is or vote Democrat just because our parents told us to or because she looks like us. She don't even claim you. She don't even claim you. But it's more of the same. And why wouldn't Obama and the Obamas endorse Kamala Harris when literally she's carrying the torch and a legacy as far as what it is that they do more for as far as the alphabet community instead of actually doing something for the taxpayers of America? Let's get into it. You know, we always got to go with different multiple news sources, right? My YouTube algorithm is absolutely ruined. It's absolutely ruined because we've been reviewing so many liberal sites and liberal YouTube channels that my algorithm is completely ruined. I need to go over the weekend while I'm on a plane and make sure that I clean up my algorithm because I got MSNBC and CNN and ABC News all up my timeline right now. But they are the ones that are providing the most comprehensive coverage as far as the alternative conversation because we like to objectively review all of these things so that we can come to a conclusion. And they are the ones that are better covering this breaking news like we didn't already know that it was coming as far as the Obamas endorsing Kamala Harris. Let's deep dive, y'all.
We'll begin this hour with a big development in the race for president here in the United States, where former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama have officially endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris for president. Here's a video released by the Harris campaign showing the moment that the Obamas called the vice president to offer their full support.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, how fake. Are y'all going for this? We gonna review this fake ass phone call. It's Friday. We just gonna get right to it. Somebody said this. Let me read this right here. Jay Boyd, who looks to be a man. Jay Boyd says, vote Kamala Harris 2024. Trump doesn't believe in the Constitution and is unfit for presidency. As a father of a girl, you should believe a woman is capable of presidency. I don't want my daughter to ever run for a leadership position in a legislative branch. I want my daughter to continue to lay in her femininity and to be under her mother, to understand that her role as ordained by the Bible itself is to be a helpmeet. I don't groom my daughter for a position of leadership and to being a president of the United States of America. Pressure is made for shoulders, not hips. Kevin Samuels told you that. What makes you think that my vision for what my daughter and my family aligns? My wife don't even do some of the same things that a lot of these people. My wife is a helpmeet to me. She is not supposed to be working towards you. My family fall under the vision of the man. It's God over man, man over woman, woman over child. It's a hierarchy. Why would I step out of God's grace, so to speak, to push them to do something that they are not supposed to be doing according to how it is that we're supposed to be operating in society today? Why would I ever want to do that? Why would I want to sell her a dream? No, I want her to be a nice woman that then allows for her husband to do whatever it is that he's supposed to do, and then for them to be equally yoked so that she can then truly, truly add the most value in society. And the value that she adds does not have to be trying to go out there and negotiate with Putin and Kim Jong-un. Why would I want to do this? Look at this fake phone call that we're listening to right now. Are you telling me that both Michelle and Barack either got the phone, both of them next to it, doing like this, hey, 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 and that y'all could hear this? You could hear this on the microphones, and they are either calling in with the phone between both of them, talking in each other's faces, breath all on each other, or that they are zoomed in, right? They are three-wayed in on their iPhones, and they're calling Kamala Harris as the camera is walking down the aisle, and they're making sure that they're endorsing her for president of the United States. Hey, Kamala, listen to this foolishness, y'all. Kamala. Look. He said her name before she ever had the thing to her ear. What? Kamala? Hello? Hey, God. Look, man, are y'all not? This is even worse than a bad. I've seen Apple put on better productions than what we see being put on by the Democratic Party as far as this endorsement by Obama. If this is not the most planned, staged, corny thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, I don't know what is. Look at the chain of events. Listen to this, y'all.
For their full support.
Kamala. Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Barack, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
Is this a bad joke, y'all? Is this a... This is like a soap opera. This is worse acting than a soap opera. I have a friend that used to work on soap operas, and he was an actor on there, and he wound up making his way onto what's that one, the one with the girl, and she was like a fixer in the White House or something like that, with the Olivia Pope girl. Shout out to my dog Neil. Shout out to Neil. He had wound up getting a recurring role on that show, but he had started off in great acting roles on soap operas. And I used to watch him on there, and I used to watch the other actors, and I was like, man, this is so extra and dramatic. What the heck is going on right now? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, dog. This is the go along, get along gang, and this is the worst advertisement that I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at this. Let me show y'all how bad this is. So she's walking down the hallway, right? And then they cut to the next scene when she's all the way in the back with all of the Secret Service and the SUVs. Scandal.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi. You're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have
We can hear, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy.
this phone call without.
Listen to this, y'all. Are we seriously doing this? This is worse than when they had that pre-recording call in with Joe Biden at our campaign headquarters. Are y'all seriously going for this? Gosh. We can't be this weak, y'all. We cannot be this corny in this week to really go for the okie doke and believing that this is not all staged. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this for us. You know how the women, a lot of times, when they don't really genuinely want you to win and they say, oh, I love that for you. I hate this for us. I hate this for us. I hate the fact that y'all are going to not actually do any research to understand the policies and understand how horrible this person was in her entire legislative career. And they say that she slept her way to the top. I can't substantiate any of that because I wasn't in the room when anybody was busting her down. But I just cannot. This Tubi movie is so bad. It's so horrible, y'all. Good God. Look at this.
Without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
Hey, why do we care about what Michelle Obama thinks? Just curious. Before we go over into the next segment of the show, why do we care about what Michelle Obama thinks? I thought that wives are supposed to be quiet in the background and be a helpmeet. Why are we looking at Michelle Obama's endorsement like that is supposed to mean anything to us? What does she do? Work on free lunches for nasty food that kids didn't even want to eat inside of their schools? What? Why do we care what Michelle Obama thinks in the first place? When did her endorsement become a rite of passage? Hey, girl. You know you my girl. I hate this for us. I genuinely hate this for us. Don't worry, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to read this out. Look at this. You're a coon. Look at this idiot right here. Look at this idiot right here. Look at this guy. Can't put together a coherent thought to even be able to communicate clearly. He subscribed. Lord Darius is subscribed to be able to say this to me, y'all. You know, hate and love is the same emotion. I said this on my other channel on a video that I released this morning. Hate and love is the same emotion. You know, these people watch me and they are tuned in and they subscribe every single morning in order to illustrate these thoughts. They are nut hugging so bad. They want me to highlight them. They want me to pay attention to what they say. Okay, my friend. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Anything else? Jesus Christ. Again, let me read some of the super chats. Mara says, Trump made him fold. Barry betrayed his beliefs. What beliefs? What did he ever stand on? Shy Guy says, bro, that chain on Kamala's neck is at least 30,000. Black and Zeus 06, thank you for contributing into the platform. I appreciate you. Jay Hunter Lee says, as a former Democratic elected official from D.C., I know all about these people. If y'all keep falling for the pandering, you will be doomed. Shout out to Ash. Let me give a shout out to Ash out here in these streets. Ash says, just like the Black Simpson, husband of the matriarchal culture, to endorse a fake Black Indian woman for president and female commander-in-chief of a powerful military. Are you ninjas crazy? Are you crazy? She better go put her head face down on the pillow. A up, KS, rest in peace. Shout out to my dog Kevin Samuels and my dog Ash. Thank you for the super chat and supporting the platform. Ken J said she had to move up. JD Vance was going to eat that. She didn't want to debate with him anyway. But we're not done with Kamala Harris right now, right? Because she's the talk of the town. And we got to have a conversation. So one of the things that I've always stood on is, and I've been talking about this literally for years because I've been at the forefront of the movement of covering the migrant crisis, where everybody else was distracted by Cardi B and what was going on with George Floyd and all of that. I was looking and I said, you know what? Why are we so focused on Black Lives Matters and we literally leaving our borders open every single day? I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me, but I definitely did figure it out. And you know what I figured out? Is that they were intentionally leaving the borders open, so much so that they decided that they wanted to sue Texas. They sued Texas because Texas was trying to prevent illegal immigration into the country. And what we found out is that not only was the Biden administration complicit in illegal activities at our border, but they want us to forget that she was the border czar. They want us to forget that they were sitting there with masks on, like bang. Oh, you think darkness is your ally? Ha! I was born in the dark, raised by it, molded by it. By the time that I was a man, I didn't even know what it was. They want us to believe, oh, you've become weak. Yeah, a great man. I like the way that you fight with much vigor, but you've lost something. They want us to believe that as they were sitting there with Bane masks on, these mask mandates that they had us in order to make sure that they controlled how you was voting in the state. Yes, I remember. And they sat there with those masks on, even though Biden just got the bid the other day and he was in a Latino-Mexican restaurant giving COVID to everybody. They say he had COVID, and so he had to go back to Delaware. They say he had COVID, so he had to go back to Delaware. But Biden was over there kissing babies, shaking hands, giving out the bid, if he really even had it. And then they said he had to go in quarantine. Okay, all right, but they were sitting there with their bang mask on. Oh. Huh, you think darkness is your ally. Ah, I was molded by it, shaped by it. Okay, all right. So let's go into it because they want us to erase history and they're trying to convince us that she wasn't in charge of the border as the borders are.
The political left is now trying to argue that Vice President Kamala Harris was never actually the border czar. You may remember President Biden formally put her in charge of immigration in March of 2021.
I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border.
Hey, Darius, listen, sir. Listen, we seen your message every single time. You don't have to spam the chat, all right? We are not going to censor people that have a difference of opinion than us. We seen it, big dog. You don't have to spam the chat. So get off your thoughts, contribute into the platform like everybody else. We know that you've subscribed, so you have the ability to be able to chat. But you don't have to spam the chat with all caps, all right? What we like to do is we like to make sure that we have deep conversations, and we think that the chat is a great part of this show. So you don't have to spam, all right? If you spam, then they're going to have to time out what you're saying so that we can get some control inside of the chat room, because I don't want to slow the chat down. We got thousands of people. It's over 2,200 people inside of this on YouTube alone. And so you don't want to spam the chat. Get your thoughts off, type coherently, and stop putting it in all caps. We've seen it, big dog. But they want to act like that Biden didn't task her with being the border czar and controlling and supposedly stemming the illegal immigration into this country. But we know that YouTube is forever and these clips is forever. And so whereas 30 years ago, you didn't have the ability to go and reference these clips, now we can pull up this stuff and we can have a conversation about exactly what her record is on the important issues and the things that's most meaningful to us. Let's talk about it.
Now it seems the left wants to erase that, like magic, from everyone's memory. New liberal media headlines claim Kamala Harris was never by...
Moderators, if people disagree with me, have a long leash. Do not censor them. Don't time them out. Don't tell them that they can't say what they want to say. We do not operate in an echo chamber. We believe in free speech over here. As long as it's not crazily disrespectful, let them rock out. But if they keep spamming the chat, then make sure we get some control of that, all right? But do not censor people. Do not ban them. Do not time them out. Let the people have their own opinions inside of the chat. They are a part of this conversation too. We don't censor people over here that disagree with us.
Biden's border czar. She was never in charge, even suggesting that the border czar title was something made up by Republicans. And Harris's left-wing allies are desperately trying to defend her poor immigration record. Let's remember together.
She assumed the role that Vice President Biden had during the Obama administration, which is diplomacy with Central America. She is not the border czar. To the extent there's anybody who's a border czar, it's the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Number one, Harris was put in charge, as you said earlier, of combating the roots of immigration. She was not and is not the border czar.
Do you think Kamala Harris did a good job as the border czar?
I don't know that she was a border czar. Was she a border czar?
They are trying to convince us. Listen, y'all, they are trying to erase history. Somebody in the chat said that they removed it from Wikipedia also. They are literally trying to convince us that Biden himself, the president of the United States of America, did not task her with the same thing that Obama tasked him with. I showed you and I shared with you Biden's stance on the border back when Obama was running for president, and that he said, and he was speaking to constituents back when he was a much younger man, and he was saying that it's no reason and no way for us to be able to control and for us to be a safe country and to be a country that is productive if we do not control our borders. And so she was supposed to assume the same position that he held within the administration, and she failed miserably, so much so that they said that she was difficult to work with, and they had so much turnover inside of the White House because people did not want to work under her because she was catty.
Kellyanne.
Who cares about the Russian title border czar? This has been the biggest failure of the administration. She owns and eats every piece of fentanyl coming over the border. All the millions of people have come since Joe Biden said she's going to stem, quote, the flow of migrants. That has not happened. We have had so many people come here illegally. It is a number higher than the population of 41 states. I want everybody to think about that. In fact, they have thought about it. That's why 9 years after Donald Trump elevated immigration and border security into the national consciousness, to international ridicule, called every name in the book. That's why it's number one or number two, Harris, in all the swing state polls and all the national polls. People see it in their backyard now. They're offended by it. They think it's unfair. So she needs to own and eat all of the failures of the Biden-Harris. I don't care what her title was. I care what the metrics are. And the public shows up there with Israel and Hamas, handling of the border is their most vulnerable issue. And nobody, including and especially Donald Trump, should let her off the hook. There's no bigger contrast between the two.
Emily.
Yes, and, just in the last seconds, Washington Post releases a headline, an online army is coming, and it's for Kamala Harris. The point is that this is a manufactured, it's a created, it's a golem of online people that don't know reality. And to your point, she has utterly failed at the border. She campaigned the last time when she failed the first time as running for president on fixing the immigration crisis. So all of a sudden, the crisis doesn't exist, nor does her participation in it. They are trying to revisionist history all of her service. They never mentioned Canada. She talked about growing up in the public school system here. Where are you talking about? But at the end of the day, that is what they are spoon-feeding the Democrat Party and all of those kids that are going to vote for her.
That is such a good point.
She never met.
Where she grew up in education. Go ahead.
She never met with the border chiefs, not once. She said that she wanted to disband ICE altogether. At one point, she called ICE agents or border agents Ku Klux Klansmen, right, on the horses. And she will defend the legality, in her view. She's supposed to be a prosecutor, and she's said all the ones that crossed over illegally are really legal, and we have to do whatever we can, however expensive the entitlements, to help them here. She will bankrupt the country on that, as well as other entitlement proposals.
You know what? I was able to just right away, I just went on YouTube and I went and looked it up. For the people out here that's continuing to cape for and saying that, oh, no, it wasn't her fault. I went and found a video 3 years ago where she did an interview. And one of the things that they was talking about in this interview is the reason why she hadn't even visited the border as a person that was supposed to be tackling the issue. Let me go ahead and share it with you really quickly. This is from 3 years ago on NBC News. This is Kamala Harris, the person that is currently running for president of the United States of America, who they're trying to say was not the border czar, was not even having a conversation about Venezuelans and Guatemalans that's coming over into this country. And he asked her flat out and said, why haven't you even visited the border? And you telling these people not to come, but why you ain't even visited the border to even see what the real issues are? He asked her. This is from 3 years ago, 2021, back when Biden had appointed her the border czar, and they're trying to act like, and I just showed y'all the clips where Democrats is trying to act like, oh, she was never supposed to be doing anything with regard to the border. She had no clue on anything that had anything to do with the border. Okay, so you're saying that we can't hold her accountable for the position that Biden appointed her for. It was just like something to say at the time. Okay, well, let's see what it is that she had to say by herself.
Tonight, Vice President Harris in Mexico, meeting with the Mexican president.
You can't say you care about the border without caring about the root causes.
Part of her first foreign trip, targeting the root causes of the record migrant surge. I spoke to her last night in Guatemala.
You had a message for would-be migrants. Don't come.
Whoa. Do not come.
Okay.
Do not come.
All right.
The notion that the border is closed. Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in?
Well, Lester, here's the thing. I've been working on this issue for a very long time. And the kind of violence and danger that is associated with that trek, especially when we're talking about from Guatemala through Mexico to the United States, it's extremely dangerous. And the reason that I am in Guatemala is to address the reasons people leave home, flee. Knowing that the people who are here for generations, or if we know the history of Guatemala for centuries, they want to stay. They don't want to leave. But they need opportunity. They need assistance. They need support.
Okay. But Americans don't see.
And we have the ability to give them that.
Yeah, Americans don't see a lot of that on a daily basis. What they do see at their own border, children being lowered over fences, children coming in with, phone numbers.
I thought she wasn't responsible for what was happening at the border. Why in 2021 is she talking about it? Let's see what she has to say about visiting the border. I just want to understand it. I want to make sure, because we can go back. A lot of people are not going to go through and they're not going to do this level of deep diving with you. But we got time today before I catch that flight to Houston.
Numbers stenciled on their hand.
Yeah.
And so the question has come up, and you heard it here, and you'll hear it again, I'm sure. It's why not visit the border? Why not see what Americans are seeing in this crisis?
Why not? He asked her flat out blank. Listen, you've been in office since 2020 election, November. This is late in 2021. You've been appointed to border czar. Oh, you didn't think that she was appointed to border czar? Okay, let me see something. I wound up going back and deep diving a little bit further when Biden first got appointed president of the United States of America. And I wanted to understand if he really did appoint her border czar. Let's see.
Today I have two announcements to make. One is we've got ourselves a secretary. Javier, welcome. Thank you. Thanks for being willing to do this. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And,
okay, Biden.
Also today, I said when we became a team and got elected that the vice president's going to be the last person in the room. She didn't realize that means she gets every assignment. But the vice president and I and all of us here have been working very hard to pass the legislation that is going to beat this virus, as well as get people back to work and change their prospects.
Okay.
And so she's traveling all over the country working that. In addition to that, there's about 5 other major things she's handling, but I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks stemming the migration to our southern border. And, you know, back when I was vice president, I got a similar assignment, but one of the things we did was we made sure that we got a bipartisan agreement with Democrats and Republicans to provide over $700 million to the countries in the Northern Triangle to determine the best way to keep people from coming is keep them from wanting to leave.
So you gave, during the time that y'all was in office, you and Obama was largely considered, I mean, one of the toughest people on immigration into this country. They was mad at him for having children in cages and everything. So y'all gave other countries $700 million to solve for the root issues of why people were coming into the country in the first place, as well as deporting immigrants that are here illegal. And you tasked Kamala Harris with a similar task to do the same thing. So he's championing his record. He's the person that's given her the blueprint of how him and Obama was the ones that got more illegals deported out of this country than any president before them. And he's tasking her with this same thing. Hey, man, keep our borders safe. Don't let a whole bunch of immigration come into this country. Okay, cool. We with you, Biden. Let's get it.
And the reason why so many people were leaving, we learned, was that not only gang violence and trafficking cartels, but natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes. And so it's not like someone sits around
Let me speak this
handing table somewhere in Guatemala and says, I got a great idea, let's sell everything we have, give the money to a coyote, have them take our kids or us to the border of America, take the cross, leave us in the desert, we don't speak the language. Won't that be fun?
That's exactly what they did. Except for now we got classes to teach them English and how it is that we prepare our food inside of our restaurants.
The ways we learned is that if you deal with the problems in country, it benefits everyone. It benefits us, it benefits the people, it grows the economies there. Unfortunately, the last administration eliminated that funding, did not engage in it, did not use it, even though there was over $700 million to help get this.
And it's so funny because at every turn, and what Biden said is the minute that he got into office that he wouldn't build another ounce of border wall, and then he got on here and he admitted that they had did the very thing that they tried to prevent Trump from doing, and they didn't give him any funding whatsoever to continue to give Homeland Security the tools that they need in order to be able to keep out people out of this country. But let's continue.
We're reinstituting that program. And there are, as I said, there are many factors as to why people leave in the first place. But this is the source of one of the reasons why we've had such a, before we took office, in the midst of the last administration's somewhat draconian policies, separating children from their parents, etc.
You mean what Obama did that Trump then carried forward as far as making sure that he stemmed the illegal immigration into this country? Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. We got time. Today is Friday.
What happened was that we found that there were a serious spike in the number of people heading to the southern border, even in the midst of that.
So you knew.
And as Alejandro can tell you, is that was because there were serious natural disasters that occurred in those countries. They were coming north, and we did nothing to do much about it.
Okay.
So this new surge we're dealing with now started with the last administration, but it's our responsibility to deal with it humanely and to stop what's happening. And so this increase has been consequential, but the vice president's agreed, among the multiple other things that happened at the meeting, and I appreciate it, agreed to lead our diplomatic effort and work with those nations to accept the returnees and enhance migration enforcement at their borders. We're already talking with Mexico about that. She's already done that. We're going to be dealing with a full team now that we have to be able to deal with the problem here at home, but also to deal with it now in terms of in country. And I can think of nobody who's better qualified to do this than this is a woman who ran the second largest Attorney General's office in America after the United States Attorney General in the state of California, and has done a great deal upholding human rights, but also fighting organized crime in the process. So it's not her full responsibility and job, but she's leading the effort, because I think the best thing to do is to put someone who, when he or she speaks, they don't have to wonder about, is that where the president is? When she speaks for me, doesn't have to check with me, she knows what she's doing, and I hope we can move this along. But so, Madam Vice President, thank you. I gave you a tough job, and you're smiling, but there's no one better capable of trying to organize it.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and for having the confidence in me. And there's no...
So he literally, in 2021, we're watching it in real time. They recorded the conversation. They put it out there in order to promote it. In real time, he gave her the responsibility of everything border related, as far as not only stemming the tide of immigrants illegally into this country, but on top of it, also working with other countries in order to get to the core root of the issue of why they were coming over here in the first place. So if we're saying, and he said, it is our responsibility, she speaks for me, and she is handling everything border related. They said that to your face in 2021. How soon you forget? How soon you forget? If they said that, then why are we sitting here trying to remove and erase history and act like she was not responsible? Her number one responsibility, according to what Biden is saying right here, is that she is responsible for what happens at our borders, and we gonna sit here and act like it's not something that we need to pay attention to. Should I be scared? Should I be scared because I'm the only person that's literally deep diving and tackling this on their platform, that has a platform that's significant enough to actually reach thousands of people during a live stream? Should I be afraid? Listen, I will say this before we continue into this show. No matter what happens, I did not kill myself. I am not suicidal. I do not believe myself to be anything other than a person that is in their right mind. I'm happy. I'm married. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I do not in any way, shape, or form, I am not suicidal, and I do not want to hurt myself, and I am not participating in any illegal activity that would then lead you to believe that I am not a source of truth when it comes to having these conversations. I am not in any way, shape, and form feeling some type of way to where I feel like I need to take my own life. I want to hear what Madam Czar has to say.
Question that this is a challenging situation. As the president has said, there are many factors that lead president to leave these countries. And while we are clear that people should not come to the border now, we also understand that we will enforce the law, and that we also, because we can chew gum and walk at the same time, must address the root causes that cause people to make the trek, as the president has described, to come here. And I look forward to engaging in diplomacy with government, with private sector, with civil society, and the leaders of each in El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras to strengthen democracy and the rule of law and ensure shared prosperity in the region. We will collaborate with Mexico and other countries throughout the Western Hemisphere, and as part of this effort, we expect that we will have collaborative relationships to accomplish the goals the president has and that we share. I also look forward to working with members of the Congress who I think share our perspective on the need to address root causes for the migration that we've been seeing. And needless to say, the work will not be easy, but it is important work. It is work that we demand, and the people of our countries, I believe, need to help stem the tide that we have seen. So thank you, Mr. President, for your confidence.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for willing to do it.
Do I need to say anything else, or should we go back to the original interview after she had been in a position as to him asking her, why haven't you went to the border if this is your responsibility?
Not visit the border. It has come up, and you heard it here, and you'll hear it again, I'm sure. It's why not visit the border? Why not see what Americans are seeing in this crisis?
Well, we are going to the border. We have to deal with what's happening at the border. There's no question about that. That's not a debatable point. But we have to understand that there's a reason people are arriving at our border, and ask what is that reason, and then identify the problem so we can fix it.
What do you tell a Guatemalan family who heard you say don't come, but you know they're facing the end? There's poverty, there's disease, all these things happening at once. You tell them don't come?
We don't want, listen, I don't think that Americans want people to be exposed to harm if they can avoid it. They're taking the trek from the place that they know that they want to stay. So I'm here in Guatemala to say, what can we do to support people and to give them a sense of hope that help is on the way.
The administration looking to inject billions of dollars in aid to this region to help reduce that migrant surge. In April, nearly 180.
Listen, y'all. What other evidence do you need? I didn't just say it out of my mouth in order to explain it. I just broke it down from a C student's perspective. She said, I don't think Americans want migrants to get hurt. No, some of those very migrants was over here kicking ass, taking names, robbing people in New York, taking young girls' lives down in Tennessee. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't think Americans want migrants to get hurt on their trek over here. No, we don't want them inside of our country illegally in the first place. We don't want people illegally crossing into our borders in the first place. That's what we don't want. You don't have to think what we want. I'm telling you, we're telling you, when y'all sued Texas and said, keep y'all borders open, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said, not on my watch. And not only that, but the people that got over here, they going to Chicago, they going to Boston, they going to LA, they going to Denver, they going to New York. They're going to go to all of the sanctuary cities. And Eric Adams was sitting there as they was getting off the bus saying, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Am I off or am I on? Am I off or am I on? Meanwhile, we now got like between 15 and 20 million migrants since they've taken office. 15 to 20 million migrants since they've taken office that have illegally crossed over into the United States of America. And not only that, they had TikToks showing you exactly where it is that they can come in. And we did absolutely positively nothing about it. Now we've allocated monies to the tune of billions of your dollars to house them, clothe them, feed them, make sure that they get American classes, to give them health care coverage. And the only thing that they knew to say was, I want to go to Chicago, I want to go to New York, I want to go to Denver, I want to go to California. And now they're training them to not only eventually be American citizens, they can get driver's licenses over in Chicago. They driving y'all cars. My daughter, 16 years old, just got her license earlier this year. She had to take drivers 1, drivers 2, drivers 3, then go and drive around with the parents on a regular basis, get tracked by the app and all of this, and they can apply for a driver's license. And they come from places that don't even have the steering wheel on the same side of the car as here over in America. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here with that, bro. I'm not going for it. I'm not going. You not going to sit here and tell me and sell me this bag of goods like it makes sense. It don't. Never have. Never will. 100%. I remember, see, we over here on the Millionaire Morning Show, a lot of y'all are new. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, and then subscribe to the Anton Daniels channel and all of my social media platforms that's in the description of this video. We've been covering this for years. I was looking at them hiding migrants inside of the Boston airport in order to try to prevent y'all from seeing what was really happening. I seen it. The Atlanta airport that had secret rooms that they was having migrants in that you had to go through TSA and do the body scan. And they looking at your little penis right there. You had to go through the body scan. Grandma had to go through a special interest because she had a metal hip. And they had migrants secretly inside of a back room that they had discovered, and they told y'all to erase that from the fucking internet. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Am I off or am I on? I seen all of these. Listen, every single time I go down to Miami, every time I go to New York and I order DoorDash, I get a person that's delivering my gig worker stuff that don't even speak English. Don't even speak English. I'd had a man that pulled up to me, and I told y'all this story before. I had a man that pulled up to me when I went up to Somerset Mall out here in Michigan to go shopping with my wife. He said, man, that's a nice 96 Impala that you got. I said, man, thank you. We wound up getting into a conversation. He said, listen, you build houses? I said, yeah, I build houses. We got into a long conversation about what we was doing. And he said, man, I got a group of migrants that can come over there and work for us. You just let me know. I got the construction company. I'm running out here. I got a group of Venezuelans that can come over. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I got to pay my unions, the people that live in my community, the excavators, the framers. I got to pray. I can't go and get Emmanuel in them. I can't go and get Jesus. When I look at his name on paper, it say Jesus. And then every single time they want you to continue to pay them in cash. I can't write that off. That's not a business expense. Me giving you cash is not a business expense, sir. I need to make sure that y'all paying taxes. That's just me. That's just my experience in particular. Maybe y'all got a little bit different of experience. Maybe you want to become a passport bro and you saying, listen, I don't really want to travel overseas to go to get my girl. I want her to come over here inside of the migrant crisis and just be able to go. I got 2 or 3 on deck. No need to go over there to another country. I don't have to go to Sosúa over in the Dominican Republic. They right here in New York City. New York City. Oh, let me read these super chats and we're going to continue over with the show. Listen, I'm sorry. I just got to get to the thick of it. I got to tell you what I really feel. I can't censor myself because I'm not owned by anybody. Nobody can control me. Nobody can tell me what to do. There is no boss over me that can say, Anton, you can't say that because our sponsors don't like it. Sponsored by Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. Make sure y'all go and get that Tiege pack on a Friday. Don't wait for your ladies to get it for you. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. Ladies, if they don't get it, then make sure you get it for them. The link is in the description. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got 8,300 bag chasers, the biggest Patreon out here in these streets. 8,300 Patreon members that's going in a certain direction. If you want to join in on a conversation, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let me read some of these super chats so these dudes can continue to get sassy and angry that their wife keep leading them to the poll. You letting your wife fill out your absentee ballot because she already know what you want to do. You simp. Chat for more says, good morning from California, AD. Why you have so many haters? Seeing the after hours stream last night is because I speak my mind and I'm unapologetic about it. Listen, when you're not giving over into the establishment and you're not trying to people please, eventually you're going to get some people that come out of the woodwork because you take a position. When you take a position and you're not trying to be a people pleaser, and you're not trying to be PC, you're going to have people that come out of the woodwork. That's just a part of the game, big dog. If you don't like it, then don't become a content creator. That's just the name of the game. Chase Barnes in the building says, happy Friday, AD and peeps. AD, do you recall my super chat about her reeking of fakeness a few days ago? I do. Well, welcome to part 2. I have a title called The Landscape of Fakeness. Shout out to Chase Barnes. I appreciate you. Jay Jones in the building says, my first super chat. Shout out to the super chatters. But we love our haters, AD. I love my people. Hate is just as strong as an emotion as love, and it benefits you the same way. The same way. A hate watcher is just as effective as a love watcher. We call it the Floyd Mayweather effect. The Gray Way in the building says, men who use sign language is weird to me. Beastly Nerd says, what has Michelle Obama done to get this much praise and recognition other than being a wife of Barack? At least he was president. What has she done? I told y'all she gave some nasty school lunches. Ash says, shout out to Ash. According to her Res 253, Kamala was assigned as the border czar, according to this Congress bill, 118th Congress /House resolution /253 /text. So they can erase it. Okay, thank you for pulling that up for me, Ash. I appreciate you. Chad for more says, see how many people try to change history? This is one of the reasons why I'm very cautious about what I read, especially religious texts. And I think you should be cautious because we got some nasty things happening out here in these streets. Sharik 43 says she has her phone on her ear, but we hear her loud on speaker like we at the club. Yeah, right. No, you know the people gonna go for it. They would rather criticize whether or not Trump got shot in his ear than whether or not she actually having that phone call. Shout out to you. Chase Barnes is out here in these streets says, this all reminds me of the line from Kendrick's Not Like Us. The audience is not dumb. Shape the stories that you want. Hey, Drake, they're not slow. Instead of Drake, it would be the Dems. Shout out to you. Aaron L. is in the building. Shout out to my dog, Aaron L. Giving into the platform says she also tasked with women's health care incentives. Jill Biden came up with the policy before her in the AI policy. She failed in those areas too. Oh, so you're giving me additional insight. Thank you, my friend. Right Inside is in the building says, but Anton, Project 2025, that Trump is not even associated with. Jewel Alchemy Soap Company LLC says, We're at the center of a Venn diagram that consists of a brave new world, Fahrenheit 451 in 1984. Don't believe your lion-eyed bag chasers for life. Shout out to the Chasers and the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. JC Cuts in the building says, this is proof. Dems chance history, slavery. Lear Jetson says, Anton, we should have came up with our own name instead of accepting the terms like black and African American. We're in this problem because we've replaced the word of God with word of the liberals. Well, guess what? I rock with people based off of the content of their character, not the color of their skin. So I don't care who you are. I'm an American first and a man. Because they don't even know what the definition of a woman is nowadays. Sister in the building says, good morning, Mr. AB. So were the Dems trying to pay them to stay in their countries? Nope, that was just laundering money in my personal opinion. Chad from Moore says, Cam saw the work it requires and said, F it. Forget it. El General Del Air says, we send them millions, and their leaders keep the money for themselves. Please look and research who owns resorts in Mexico and condos. And my yayo, shout out to the people in my yayo. I see I'm trending over there on Twitter. Shout out to everybody on Twitter running it up. Five Brown, my dog, says, AD, you're 100% right about all of this, but they know 99% of black Democrat voters won't take the 2 minutes it took to research and pull up the old clips. Watch home. Many will regurgitate this BS about her never being a border czar. Oh, we know it's coming. We know it's coming, but it's better to be an informed voter than to just blindly go to the polls. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jason Harrison, a few more, says, little off topic, but it's about money. Can you do a Patreon vid detailing how you source your real estate deals, marketing, and important relationships? Absolutely. Coming in the Patreon right after I talk about my 8 sources of income. Ash, my dog, Ash, you out here running up a check. I love my rich friends. Says, you know what's so funny but sad? Black people will still vote for Kamala because she's a black woman regardless of the illegal immigrants or the illegal migrants that are taking over their jobs, neighborhoods, votes, reparations, etc. Are black people cursed? Absolutely. Absolutely, because they're cursed by their own actions to continue to be voluntarily ignorant, and they don't have to be that way because all of us ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? Jay Hunter Lee in the building says, when people call you a coon, it says they're comfortable and proud to be fielding and just, that's where they'll stay. We cool with that. Name calling, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. That's what they taught me in elementary school. Brian Baker, thank you, Brian Baker, for supporting the platform. Jay Denoir, 89 says, black men, for the love of God, please do not allow your sons to be raised by a single mama. They will end up effeminate and beta like Loris Darius. See, you decided to type in the chat and the people not messing around with you. Lee Barton in the building. Shout out to this beautiful couple. Says, how can you vote for people that's affecting the black community negatively with illegals? Let me give you that one right there. My dog Ash one more time says, Romans 1:28 says, even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to their reprobate mind. He's giving y'all over to your reprobate mind to do those things which are not fitting. Was the Bible talking about black people? It was talking about anybody, because it's not just black people. Let me throw black people a little bit of rope. It's not just black culture. It's white women, simp white men, people that decide that they want to be a part of the alphabet community. Those are their constituents. When Obama took office, one of the things that he did, in my opinion, is that he created an entirely new voter class by championing rights that were not best for our children, but ultimately would create a new voter base in the alphabet community that think that they should align with the Democrats when they themselves too are suffering at the hands of these liberals and this liberal mindset. But he was successful in completing the task, and that's why we now are sitting here battling for who it is that should become president of the United States today, as well as our Congress members, our local election, mayors, aldermen, state representatives, treasurer, judges. Y'all need to get informed and y'all need to start participating in what's happening in y'all neighborhoods. Otherwise, don't complain when Man and them come over and knock you in the head. Ty, you got over 2 million views on X. Congrats. Hey, shout out to X in the building. I appreciate y'all. Give me a round of applause. Make sure y'all subscribe to me. Make sure y'all turn on your notifications. We rocking out. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Shout out to Joshua Means. I appreciate you, big dog. All right, we got to continue over. We got to cover all news, not just what's happening on a political level. We got to cover all news, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got to talk about the worst governor, the worst. And when I say the worst, I mean the worst governor in the United States of America. At one point, I was thinking about possibly doing an award show to talk about who's the best and who's the worst when it comes to politics in the United States of America. Right now, I have Greg Abbott leading in Texas as far as the greatest governor in the United States of America during this voting election period. And I have the worst. And when I say the worst, I mean the worst. The worst in the country is Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is quite possibly the worst in America. California's in shambles. But then I started asking myself this question, right? Because when this came across my desk and y'all sent this to my email, I was trying to figure it out because before I live stream about it, I try to get the understanding. And they always say in everything you do, get understanding, right? And I was trying to understand to myself, why now? Why is Gavin Newsom now practically in California, right after they passed the bill to not be able to out the kids when they go into the schools and they say, hey, I want to be identified as she, even though he was biologically born as a male, right? And they say, hey, you are forbidden for telling the parents that your kid is out here being sassy in school, and then they going back home and they being something different so that you can deal with it as a parent. Right after they passed that through the legislation, right after they ran all of the businesses out of their entire state, but then they gave a reparations over the Panera Bread because they bake their own bread. But they raised the minimum wage for all businesses with over 60 locations, regardless if it was only in California, but it had to be 60 locations nationwide, except for Panera Bread. That donation helped. Right? I said, listen, California has been spending billions of dollars throwing it away on social services. And then they got the worst homelessness problem, which Gavin Newsom, one of the things that he got elected on becoming governor of California on, was the whole idea of solving for homelessness in the state. And then y'all voted him in again. He couldn't solve for the problems that was happening in San Francisco when he was mayor of San Francisco. Go to San Francisco today. Stores are absolutely leaving. They trying to solve for this doom loop, and you can't walk 3 feet without stepping on a pile of doo-doo. You can't even be aware of your surroundings because you're so busy trying to step over these doo-doo bombs on the floor. But y'all made him. Y'all made him governor of California. Gavin Newsom, who has a multi-billion-dollar deficit right after they had a surplus. Right after they had a surplus, they're trying to fill that budget deficit, and everything is falling apart, including all of these cities around them. Oakland is the poster child of what's wrong with California right now. But I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to understand, and I'm going to read that super chat shortly. I was trying to understand, and I said, hey, why are they now basically outlawing and making it illegal to be homeless over in California when it's such a liberal city and so many people are living van life and taking showers inside of Planet Fitness and then going into Walmart to brush their teeth? Let's deep dive into it, y'all.
This is a pivotal moment in California. Governor Newsom says no excuses. He is ordering local officials to remove homeless encampments. San Francisco has long struggled to deal with this issue, and city leaders and homeless advocates have different views on how to approach the governor's directive. Here's NBC's Gia Vang.
Today I announced an executive order to move the process forward. We're done. It's time to move with urgency at the local level to clean up these sites.
Homeless encampment sites where Governor Gavin Newsom says the state has invested billions of dollars to address the housing crisis. It comes after a Supreme Court ruling that made it easier for cities to remove tents and punish people for sleeping on sidewalks. But at the Coalition on Homelessness in San Francisco, which is embattled in a Ninth Circuit Court lawsuit with the city.
It was really, I think, a big slap in the face of unhoused people who are really suffering without having access to water, electricity, a door to lock, a bed to sleep in.
There are more than 8,000 unhoused in SF, according to city data, and Mayor.
They don't say homeless anymore. They say unhoused. It makes it a little bit more PC.
London Breed recently said she plans to aggressively pursue clearing more encampments starting next month. Her office said the city is already doing what the governor is calling for, saying in a statement, "This is why we are seeing a 5-year low in the city's tent count on our streets. We have made significant investments in shelter and housing." But
would that also include the $165 million permanent housing and $600,000 per unit for homeless people that they have over there in Los Angeles nowadays? I wonder. Does that include $600,000 to build per unit for permanent homeless housing, which will eventually become the Carter? You know, Anton is not going to forget. Thank you for that Cash App. I'm going to be reading that shortly. $600,000 per unit, $165 million for the building itself, and they're building more. But that's not even an issue right now because we've been dealing with that issue for a while. My question becomes, why here? Why now?
A UCSF statewide study last year found addressing people before they become unhoused is key. It found participants reported an average monthly income of $960 in the 6 months prior to becoming homeless and believe rental subsidies or one-time financial help would have prevented it.
It's just, this is what we've been doing. We've been sweeping all along and violating people's human rights, and it hasn't worked, and it exacerbates homelessness. So we'd like to see a real shift. We'd like to see
The one thing that Gavin Newsom ran on, and I'm not going to let y'all forget this because I got the memory of an elephant, and I'm glad to be able to leverage my platform in order to bring visibility to these issues. One of the things that Gavin Newsom ran on was he said that we could solve homelessness in one term with a few $1 billion. And now we got more people on the streets than ever before. Don't believe me? Go walk down Skid Row, go walk in Oakland at night and see how that's going to turn out for you. It's going to be bad. I seen a guy yesterday. So I ran down the street because I got a place down the street. And then I come back and I see some guys starting to take up camp in front of the building that I'm doing this out of my studio out of right now. And I say, hey, man, hey, you got to get that from up out of here. You can't be standing in front of the building. You know better than that. You know who I am. I talk to you every single morning. He said, okay. All right, I'm leaving that time. So I tricked him, right? And I went around the block and I stopped. And then I went around the block a little further and I paused. And I let a couple minutes go by. I was listening to the street. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. So I listened to the whole song. Listen, anybody that seen me in the streets yesterday in Detroit, I was driving in my Porsche 911. Sweet dreams are made of these. People couldn't understand why I was just sitting on the counter. And so people couldn't understand. They was like, man, why is this guy sitting on the corner? But I was waiting because I know my people. I deal with these people on a regular basis. And then I hit the corner. And guess what I seen? He was sitting on the street with his penis out. I kid you not. Honest to God, on everything. He was facing Woodward and he had his Johnson out. He said, he was like, I said, why are you out here with your penis out in front of my building? Why are you out? Listen, I'm telling this story for a reason. Roll with me. I said, why are you out here with your penis out? I told you to get from up under here. I'm sorry. I'm moving. Then he started moving real fast. Pee is coming out of his penis. He walking up and down Woodward. I said, Jesus, what is going on? I said, we got to figure out how to solve this homeless crisis. Now imagine, because this is a small, I cannot make this up. This is the honest to God truth. This is the honest to God truth. Listen, the reason that I tell y'all the story of how it is that I got to deal with these people on a regular basis because I go out and I give sandwiches and I volunteer on the weekend sometimes when I have the capacity and I don't have to fly out of town. And I'm in the streets and I give out money and I give them resources and I try to get them to places that they're supposed to be because a lot of homeless people, they don't want to go to the shelters. They prefer to be on the streets. They prefer to sleep in front of the churches. They prefer to sleep on the bus stops, right? And so as he was walking around, me too. I said, man, put your penis in your pants. Put your penis in your pants. Don't walk down Woodward with your penis out of your pants. What I'm trying to tell you guys and what I'm trying to illustrate to you guys right now in this conversation is that what's happening in California is that times 1,000,000,000%. I walked down Skid Row. I got the videos on my other channel. I'm telling you, I am familiar with what the face of homelessness look like. It is multifaceted. It is a problem that you cannot solve by just sweeping up the streets. And so when I see this stuff happening and I see Gavin Newsom out here pretending like he actually cares about the people, the reality is this, and I have a theory. I have a theory as one of the greatest morning shows on the face of this earth that you're not going to get this on CNN. You're not going to get this on MSNBC. You're not going to get it on Fox News. They're going to give you the corporate look. They're going to put on a suit and tie, and they're going to talk to you like this because I don't know. And they're going to bring in Pierce Morgan, and they're going to bring in Charlemagne the God. And why do you embrace Biden and Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America? Now, I'm going to tell you from a person that is going to break it down from a C student's perspective, my theory as to why they are now sweeping up homelessness and basically making it illegal for you not to be out here in these streets because either A, B, or all of the above, either we have somebody famous and a great delegate that's coming in from overseas, like they did when China came over there to San Francisco and they cleaned up the streets temporarily, or B, maybe, and this is a theory, and if this is true, you know I'm going to throw it in your face, maybe Gavin Newsom is trying to make himself look good because Kamala Harris still has to pick a vice president for the United States of America as a running mate. And so he's trying to make himself look good because his record needs to reflect something that they can then use and speak to when it comes to these presidential debates and these vice presidential debates. I believe in my heart that Gavin Newsom is firmly in the running of president or vice president of the United States of America because he's been in the bullpen for a long time. And I honestly believe that he is one of the people that is trying to have because you got to remember, California is already blue. It's no reason for him to come up this late in the game and then do all of this stuff that's not even helping the people in California. California is blue. They are not going to do a rally in California. They're not going to do a rally in New York. Those places are solidly blue. They already got it sold up. They have no reason to come and speak to y'all, ask y'all what y'all want for y'all president. Y'all gonna vote the way y'all gonna vote no matter what, okay? But I honestly believe, and this is my theory, I believe that he's absolutely 100% trying to position himself to then become the vice president and Kamala Harris's running mate. Now, I'm not saying that she's gonna pick him, but this is my theory. It's only a hypothesis. It's an educated guess. It's no other reason for it. No other reason for it. They've let them languish on y'all streets all this time. And now 4 months before you vote in November, all of a sudden, you want to start saying that we're going to outlaw homelessness and we're going to remove all of these people from the streets? Get the fuck out of here. I'm not going for it. So that's my theory. That's my theory. That's my theory. Okay? And next time you see a man walking down the street with his penis out, peeing in front of the public, and all of these cars driving by, remember I told you that it's something that's happening in every city across America. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. I got to acknowledge also the people that's over there on Cash App that's hooking your boy up. X Bionics is in the building, says I'm an official page. Let me get a round of applause for the new bag chasers. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. If you're looking to rock out, level up financially, grow in your career, and rock out with a group of people that's going in a positive direction and the direction that you're going in, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Also, if you do join the Patreon, make sure you join the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon. All right? Shout out to X Bionics. I appreciate you. Daddy Day Trips is in the building and said, did you know Gavin is Pelosi's nephew? I did not know that. I did not know that. So you saying that is nepotism? Like they said with Bronny James? Don't worry about it. We don't even complain about that. We just make sure that we nominate him. The Levite Apparel is in the building and says, Anton, I have an opinion. I think Biden will leave early, allowing the VP to become the president in order to encourage voters to vote for your opinion. I had already said that I think that was a possibility in the first place. I talked about that on the Anton Daniels channel. Saquon is in the building and says, women and most African Americans are voting in their feelings and not logically. More illegal aliens, less jobs, and money available to blacks. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Mr. Joe is in the building and said, we got this for the collection plate. Thank you, my friend. I want to acknowledge the Cash Appers because I never want to forget the people. Shout out to DJ Second 2 says, for the collection plate. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Also for Yale Williams says, my Governor Abbott sitting on business. 2 wheels down. 2 wheels down. Peace up. 2 wheels down. Peace up, 2 wheels down. Shout out to everybody that supports your boy on the platform. Thank you for continuing to tune in. I love you. I appreciate you. But we got more that we got to go over, not just including politics, not just including what's happening in your state and in your city and homelessness and whether or not she was the border czar and Obama's endorsement. I have a story that I think that you guys need to be aware of because this week I've been covering real estate fraud. I've been speaking extensively about real estate fraud. Now, this is a cautionary tale of how easy it is for you to be able to lose your home or the inheritance of somebody that passes in your family. And this happened in that Atlanta area. Y'all take a look. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And then we're going to get into a reaction video of a woman that went broke.
But this is the back of the house.
A walk around this Lithonia property.
Watch your step.
Is a somber stroll down memory lane for Trahan Brown.
It's very emotional. I had a lot of memories, yo.
About 2 decades worth. A family home his 69-year-old Uncle Evans Lee Jr. owned.
Let me tell you something. Uncle Evans Lee Jr. is exactly what we pictured and what we would deal with as far as the old school players and the plant. I used to work in a steel mill here in Metro Detroit, out there in Dearborn, Root Steel specifically. Used to be Ford Steel. And we used to see these old time players. You know what I'm saying? And Ford, Chrysler, and GM, this player looked like he would have been one of the ones that worked at Ford because they always had to go over to the luxury division. And so over there in Ford, they went and got Lincolns. A stankin' Lincoln is what we called it. The old school players over there at GM, because you know I'm here in Detroit, they used to go and get them some caddies. So they dressed just like this. They had the Steve Harvey suit. They made sure that they had their Dobb hats on, and they drove them a stankin' Lincoln. They always had them an extra baby mama on the side, too. They always had them an extra baby mama on the side. But Evans Lee, he was a little bit different. Let me share with you.
Now, the family ownership is gone, and so is Uncle Evans Lee Jr.
Every time I come here, I just want to cry, bust down and cry because he gone. That's the only person I had left in my life.
Although Evans died in 2022.
He got 2 Lincolns. The old school player had the previous version Lincoln and they had the newest Lincoln. And then they would trade the previous version Lincoln in when they got the newest Lincoln. And so the other Lincoln would then become the second Lincoln. And they would just have that parked in the driveway. That's the one that they drove to work. And then when they would go and see their side baby mama, because they always had an extra kid here or there. When they go and see their side baby mama, they're going to get in the stankin' Lincoln. You know what I'm saying?
Case of alleged fraud only just began to unravel.
I would like to see Mr. Watson prosecuted to the full extent.
He's talking about Randy Watson. The family filed a police report against the 43-year-old who submitted paperwork in probate court days after Uncle Evans Lee Jr. died. Randy sought to inherit whatever assets remained. This probate court petition shows Randy signed a sworn statement that he was the only child and sole heir. No additional proof or supplemental documentation was required. As a result, the probate judge appointed Randy Watson the administrator of the estate. Randy gained access to everything his father, Evans Lee Jr., left behind. Just one problem. Evans Lee was not his father. In fact, Evans Lee was no father at all. He had no kids, which means Randy Watson is not his son. Not even close.
And that's insane. To think that somebody can easily finesse our court system, because this is fraud. This is nothing less than fraud at the highest level. To think that somebody can easily finesse our court system. And all you got to do is give a written sworn statement to then say you are the sole heir of somebody that passed away, but you don't even have to be related to them. You don't even have to be their son. And you can then inherit the entire estate, which then pushes out the rest of the family, and the man never even had any kids. I think that this person needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But this also illustrates some of the problems that we have in our communities, right? In that we are ignorant and we don't know. We don't have no wills. We don't have no life insurance. I did a video yesterday where the dudes was basically getting finessed because of the zombie mortgages and stuff that's happening. People getting kicked out of their homes, you losing your inheritance. You could have been raised in that house for the last 20 years, and guess what? Somebody gonna take 5 minutes, go into the court, put in a false statement, and the next thing you know, they got access to everything that man ever had. That's crazy, and we living in America. This is happening in America.
Who is he to Mr. Evans?
He's not related to him.
A certified DNA test proved it. The results show Randy is not even a family member, that there is a 0.00% chance the late Evans Lee Jr. was his dad. This was a court-ordered paternity test, which only came after the True family got wind someone filed probate paperwork on their uncle's estate before they could. Trahan and his wife learned about it once they tried to file their own probate paperwork. After more than a year of waiting, a judge ruled in favor of Trahan and his family, citing there was neither evidence to prove paternity nor documentation that Randy had a right to inherit anything. By the time it was proven Randy was not the so-called sole heir, and the judge ordered everything to be turned back over to the True family, it was too late.
There was never an opportunity to go in the home, clean the home out. None of that.
Cleared it all out.
Cleared it all out.
The DeKalb County home itself foreclosed and auctioned off. Most of the belongings and sentimental items gone too. None of it as valuable as Uncle Evans Lee himself.
So, what does this mean? This means that throughout the year, where the other guy then had access to the property to go in, take everything out and sell it, and probably use it to bust a couple chicks down. In addition to that, right, what also happened on top of that is that the mortgage company was still expecting for this man to be making his mortgage payments. Now, you could be making your mortgage payments for the last 20 years. And guess what? If you miss 3, you get into the 4 territory. By the time you get into the 5th or 6th missed payment, you are absolutely positively going to lose your property. You are going to be foreclosed upon, and then it's going to be sold in the auction to somebody like me that is going to be taking advantage of the fact that you was not on top of it. More importantly, you couldn't then pay off or keep this property because you didn't have the capital to be able to carry over the mortgage. So the whole time while they're waiting for the judge, which the court system issued the fact that, and they issued his estate over to the other dude immediately. But it took you a year to go and get the DNA test, to go through the probate court for the entire year. By the time that it was over, the property was gone, the stuff is out of there, and the mortgage company has already auctioned it off to somebody else. Messed up. Absolutely horrible way to end a legacy, and you can't even go and get the ashes up out of that joint.
Urn with his ashes also nowhere to be found. When officers asked, Randy told police he'd been robbed of all the items, the valuables, the money, and even Evans Lee's ashes, according to this police report. An allegation the family does not believe. Atlanta News First Investigates discovered receipt records from a local disposal company in the time period Randy had access to the home. The receipts revealed items were moved from the Lithonia property at least twice last year, more than 60,000 pounds worth. The most unbelievable matter for the family begins here. Trahan maintains his uncle was adamantly against cremation, that he wanted to be buried alongside his wife.
But he was cremated.
Yeah.
And whose decision was that?
Randy Watson.
It goes back to this funeral home.
Who is Randy Watson? That country bumpkin name, some random dude just came in and took over everything and did what he wanted to do. Who the heck is Randy Watson?
Sims. The owner confirmed to Atlanta News First Investigates Randy Watson identified himself as the son and told the business to cremate Evans Lee Jr. The funeral home did not require proof of kinship or an ID or any other documentation. They simply took his word for it.
Is the attorney here or the director here?
No one's here.
When asked to talk about this case and its policies, the funeral home would not interview with us. There is no Georgia law that requires a funeral home to confirm if someone is truly next of kin. And because Evans Lee died while in hospice, the funeral home was tasked with completing the death certificate. Based on the information they say Randy provided to them, they filled in the death certificate, a document now riddled with false information. Decedent's son, Randy. Wrong. Again, Evans Jr. had no children. Decedent's birthplace, Nebraska. Wrong. Evans Jr. was a Louisiana native. Decedent's father's name? Unknown. Wrong. Evans Lee was a junior, meaning his father shared the same name.
because ain't nowhere in the world you could just let anybody come in your establishment and say, hey, I am the next of kin, without even checking their background and seeing if it's true.
Probate attorney James Clifton.
I've seen cases that are, absolutely heartbreaking where things like this happen because the person committing fraud, they have no care.
Is why the 15-year veteran probate lawyer urges loved ones to secure 3 documents before death: a will, a medical directive, and a financial power of attorney. Since Evans Lee...
Let's not skip over that, y'all. We need to educate ourselves. Secure 3 documents: a will, especially if you're not married, because by default, it just goes over to your wife. Now, if y'all separated, but you're not actually divorced, but you're living with a new chick, guess what? It's probably going to go over to the person that is still legally your wife. So for all of y'all shacking up, I remember that I worked for this place where we had to do insurance verification during the pandemic. Not the pandemic, during the recession. So I had got a job because the automakers and a lot of these companies was trying to save money by removing people that wasn't actually supposed to be on your benefits. And so we had to basically have people call in and verify whether or not a person was really supposed to be on their benefits. If you was a wife, you were supposed to be a wife. Nope, they wasn't supposed to be on the benefit. You had to give documents, including either a marriage certificate and a 1040. You can black out all of the stuff. What I found out in my journeys throughout life is that most people then continue to stay in the marriage, but they're not together. So the statistics on divorce are skewed even more because most people have moved on with their lives. They're living with a whole nother spouse. They got a whole nother person that's in a relationship, but that person is also not on the insurance. The former wife is on the insurance. They didn't want to pay spousal support or anything that was associated with that. So they stayed in the marriage, separated, left the person in a relationship, but then they actually are not still living together and they're not really even in a relationship together at all. And so now that made things even murkier because when then somebody passed, it became a fight, which ultimately the new person that was in their life was not the person that could determine what happened to them, nor did they inherit their estate. This is one of the reasons why you got to do things a certain way. Get a will, a medical directive, and a financial power of attorney.
Had no will, Clifton notes exploiting the probate process was easier.
It feels like it's too little too late.
Right. It's unfortunate because that is oftentimes the result, is that the bad actor receives the funds, by selling the property or whatever, and then it's gone. They spend it.
He argues cases like these,
criminal infractions, if it can be proven,
should be criminally prosecuted.
And I agree. And so nobody should have to go through this after one of your loved ones passed away. And then on top of that, you got to try to come up with the money to pay the foreclosure, to keep stave off foreclosure. And you got to go through all of the court documents. So this is just a cautionary tale that I thought that y'all would find interesting. Make sure that y'all really get y'all stuff together because a lot of us are acting like we got it together, but we're going to be doing fish fries after you die. All right, let me read some of these super chats, and then we got one more thing that we want to cover. Tevin King in the building says, Anton and everyone in the chat, don't be fooled by the news. I live in Los Angeles, California, and let me tell y'all this. They not cleaning up Skid Row, Long Beach, Venice Beach, Sacramento, and most of Los Angeles County. It's a lie. Do not be fooled. That's why I love my chat, and I love the way that y'all participate because y'all on the ground, y'all my eyes and ears when I can't get there as fast as I want to. No Excuse Lifestyle, Rocky Cage, shout out to you. Says, what up, Anton? I love your show. My brother, my second time contributing. I've seen my share of bad acting, but that phone call, Lord have mercy. Salute to you, brother. It was so bad. And people were sending me like this, like, look at Barack Obama and Michelle. Man, get out of here with that. They could at least gave up a Zoom call. El General Del Air says, Mr. Randy Watson, that boy good. He good. Y'all ever seen Coming to America? Not the second one, the first one. Eddie Murphy been on a string of questionable movies lately. I was looking at that Axel F movie on what was it, Netflix? Shout out to Seeking the Light. Seeking the Light is in the building, says that's why in Louisiana we have several civil law notaries. Our notaries can draft your testament of will or trust. Shout out to the Light Notary Services. Shout out to Site Light Notary Services. Make sure y'all go and check them out. Over there in Louisiana, Wealth Building Journey says, and we will be seeing tons of more cases of outright fraud, especially as this recession nears. And trust and believe it is absolutely on its way. Thank you, my friend. Yakima, shout out to Yakima holding me down with the 20 ball. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate you. Messy, what is up with you? I heard that you wasn't popping up. I see the people in the chat talking about you ain't gonna show up to the meetup. Shout out to the best morning show, period. Anton, I had a family emergency. Oh, okay, so we can forgive Messy. She had a family emergency. Can't make the meetup, and I'm super disappointed, but family is everything to me. Y'all have fun and be safe. Can't wait to the next one. Well, one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. God willing, we will definitely be having another one. We will definitely be having another one. Brock is in the building, says, Randy Watson was sexual chocolate from Coming to America. So that means he probably used a fake name. That probably wasn't even his real name. It's crazy. Anyways, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Again, we appreciate Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. That link is in the description. In addition to that, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Now, somebody sent me this video once. I thought that it would be interesting to review it. And the woman is saying that, I don't know if she said that she was divorced, but I know that she said she was broke and starting over and she had just got out of a relationship. Anyways, let's spend 10 or 15 minutes on this as a final part of the show. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Apparently, she's 39.
This is hard. My name is Elle, and I burned through my savings of about $80,000. I burned through my entire 401k. I am 39 years old, and I am currently living in my boyfriend's parents' house, and I'm starting over. This is video number 1. I'm creating a YouTube channel on my personal finance journey from the bottom, hopefully all the way up to the top.
And she's living in her boyfriend's parents' house. You burned through your savings, burned through your 401k, which you never, under any circumstance, you just gonna have to act broke. Burned through your 401k. You living with a boyfriend at 39 years old. She is decent looking. I'm not gonna take that away from her. I don't know if she got any kids, but she's 39 years old, burned through everything, debt, savings, and she's starting off. And again, because we don't shame women, let's be clear. We don't like to shame women. We don't like, you know what we say? Any man still living in his parents' house should not be dating. Oh, I cannot tell you how many times that I heard that one. Any man still living in with his parents past the age of 30 years old, he don't need to be focused on getting in a relationship. He need to be focused on making sure that he get his life together. He need to get his money up. He need to be focused on himself. He ain't got no time to be trying to be out here chasing on women. But this chick can monkey branch and be living in her boyfriend's parents' house, not even married. Not even married. Could be living in her boyfriend's parents' house, and because she got some streaks in her hair, right? And she got on a blouse or whatever this is, showing some cleavage because she knows how to market. I give her that. All of a sudden, we give credit and we have sympathy for her. I have not seen it past this point, and so I'm looking forward to reviewing it. I like to give credit to the content creator, so her name is Don't Be a Lemon. Don't Be a Lemon. As of the recording of this video and this live stream, she has 2,600 subscribers on YouTube. Go and check out her channel. If you like her content, then let her know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. Let's get into it, y'all. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it back up real quick.
This bottom, hopefully forward, is because I've watched tons and tons of videos and podcasts on personal finance journeys with couples, with individuals, and very rarely do I see somebody that I can actually relate to. So my hope is that there's at least one person that I can reach who might be able to relate to me. So I'm on a personal finance journey to get out of debt and rebuild my investment accounts and my savings account. How I got here. I was in a relationship for 10 years with a partner who was very comfortable financially. And in the beginning, everything was separate and I paid for my own stuff and I was more careful with my money. But as time went on and we started to combine everything.
She was in a relationship. Hold on, let me back up for a minute. Give me a second. I'm a C student. I'm a little slow.
Financially. And in the beginning, everything was separate and I paid for my own stuff and I was more careful with my money. But as time went on and we started to combine everything, I didn't honestly have to care about budgeting or money or anything. Spending was allowed and encouraged. I did have my own job, but I was making about $110,000 to $20,000 a year, and I am ashamed to say, aside from what went into my 401k, I couldn't tell you where any of that money went.
So, she was in a relationship. You know how y'all don't like to go 50-50. The man takes care of everything. His money is y'all money. I don't know if she said she was in a marriage or a relationship. I missed that part. His money is y'all money. Your money is your money. His money is y'all money. Her money is your money. Or her money is her money. So she was making between $110,000 and $120,000 a year and was just balling, spending, didn't care about anything whatsoever. And I got a sneaking suspicion that she gonna start to blame some of the stuff on him. But he let her do when she had the freedom to be able to do anything that she wanted to do. I'm gonna read this Cash App shortly. She had the freedom to do anything that she wanted to do. And you know what she did? She ran up a bunch of debt. She fumbled the bag, and she increased her spending in order to be able to chase her lifestyle. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Mostly went to beauty products, clothing, and shoes. And I paid for the groceries in the house, but he pretty much carried everything else. And so for years and years, I just kept spending more and more money. So that was the only benefit, honestly, to this relationship. So after 10 years, I decided to call it quits.
Editing out here, it wasn't the only benefit. We actually did have a really good relationship for a decent amount of time. There were a lot of good times and benefits. He was a lovely man, is a lovely man, and very kind and generous, but there were also some major issues that made me leave.
And walk away. I didn't care. It was very toxic, and it was mentally draining, and I had...
Is this bipolar? Is this woman bipolar? So she had a cut-in video where she basically said, okay, I was lying. It wasn't the only benefit to the relationship that he basically let me do whatever it is that I wanted whenever I wanted. He paid all of the bills, made sure I had a roof over my head, took care of all of the utilities, cars, everything like that. And the only thing that she had to do is buy her own groceries. And so she had to cut in and basically say, hey, listen, that's not really what the case was. He actually was a good dude. It's not the only thing that was beneficial for the relationship, because if that was the only thing that was beneficial for the relationship, then that means that you was using him. If you was only using him for what he could do for you, and then she cut back in and was basically saying that the relationship was toxic. All right, let's continue.
To leave. So I left 3 years ago, and I decided to get into real estate. And I knew once I got into real estate, I knew I had a cushion. I had a savings of about $80,000, and I knew it would take a long time to get going in real estate. But I underestimated the amount of effort.
Saved her own money so that she can have a cushion when she left him.
And I never stopped my spending. I never cut back. So I still kind of spent like I had that money coming in and had that money to spend, and I didn't. And I just kept thinking in my head stupidly that like it will all work out. It's all going to be fine. And my sister used to ask me all the time, like, don't you have a budget? Don't you care? And I'm like, it's all going to work out. It's going to be totally fine. It wasn't fine. It wasn't fine. So I didn't have a job during my real estate time, and I had a rent of $2,500, and I had a spending problem. So I did cut back a little bit because I had so much clothing and shoes and everything from that relationship that I didn't need a lot. But it was just like little things that I would buy, like eyeshadow and lipstick and a pair of shoes here and there and a coat here and there. And these things add up when you don't have an income coming in. So as time went on, I kept spending more. I ended up draining my savings, and I didn't want to give up real estate because I loved it. And I was like, I just need to make this work. At some point, I will start making money and I will refill it. So I started draining my 401k, and that went really fast. I stupidly drained it 3 times. So I paid taxes, I think, 3 different times, if I'm not mistaken.
Listen, y'all, the first thing that you got to know, when you seen the 80K leaving out, then you got to understand that maybe either you just not good at your job, or it's going to take you a little bit longer to get your feet under yourself. And so you burn through $80,000 in cash. And then you started taking money out of your 401k. Never, ever take an early withdrawal penalty out of your 401k. Ever. It is the worst tax situation that you could ever make in your entire life. Listen, that is the biggest mistake that you will make. Some people think that it's cool. I'm telling you that it's not smart. Under no circumstances, you just gonna have to act like the money don't exist. Under no circumstances do you take your money out of your 401k.
And I still kept thinking it was going to be fine, and I didn't see a problem with it. So finally, last year, I decided to leave real estate because I can't deal with it. I had a mental breakdown. I was literally crying about 10 times a day. And I said, I need to get a job. So I got a job. And to back up a little bit, when I was with my ex, I was still working. So I was in marketing. I did a lot of media ad buying, like Google ads, Microsoft ads. So I decided to get a job. I wanted to stay in the real estate industry. And the real estate industry and marketing, they don't pay a lot. So I took a job as a very entry-level job.
Sound like he won.
As a marketing coordinator at $65,000 a year. And honestly, I still kept spending. Like I cut back a decent amount, but I wasn't careful. And I thought I was being careful, but I didn't realize it until I started budgeting that I wasn't careful at all.
Oh shit, cat lady.
So fast forward. This is how I discovered personal finance, saving, and why I should care, and why I'm down this journey and rabbit hole of like saving everything, because I've done a complete 360 in my mindset and my spending habits and my saving habits in a very short period of time. And this is what started it. I was watching Ramit Sethi's YouTube channel, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And in this YouTube channel, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. He interviews couples from all different places, income brackets, everything. Some of them are worth millions, some of them only make maybe minimum wage. But all in all, the theme through it is that they are not great with their finances and they need help figuring out where to cut back and where to start saving and how to start saving. And so I started listening and I decided to pick up his book. So I picked up his book and read it very quickly, probably within a few days. And I decided I was going to look at what I was spending. At this point, this is like 3 months ago. I did not actually fully know what I was spending. So I went through my bank account and I wrote down everything. And come to find out, I was spending, I think, more on my wants than on my fixed costs. And my fixed costs were high. So this is not a good thing. I was basically just spending a lot of money, even though I thought I was being better. Like a few months ago, I had cut back because I'm in this mode now where I don't want a lot of things and clutter. And it's been overwhelming to me. So I'm trying to like stop, but I'm still, it's these little things that compound on top of each other. And whether it's like extra spending at the grocery store or going out to eat too often, anything, it just, the things add up. So I did my budget and I said, holy crap, I need to do something about this. And this is where.
So basically, old habits are hard to break. And a lot of people do the same thing, to be honest with y'all. Y'all nickel and dime yourselves to death. And basically, it's like death by 1,000 cuts because you're not actually benefiting from most of the things that you're spending your money on. We buy and we spend money at the mall. We go and spend money on Amazon. We go and, you know what I'm saying, basically buy a bunch of stuff and we go out to eat. We overspend at the grocery store. We feel like we deserve to go and take ourselves out and treat ourselves and all of this stuff. And we really don't have any financial discipline whatsoever. So what she's basically telling you guys is that even though she realized she had a problem like a crackhead, she couldn't get off the crack. She couldn't get off the crack. A lot of y'all don't know that a lot of these things that these people are spending on and having a conversation about is truly an addiction. It's truly, they are addicted to shopping and addicted to trying to impress other people. I know people that buy cars that they can't afford and they say that they're going to figure it out later because they got to keep up with the Joneses and all of this stuff. And so she got a spending problem. She got an addiction problem. And one of the things that I tell people a lot of times, especially men, is do not find yourself in a situation with a person that is not equally yoked. Being equally yoked is not just spiritually. It's somebody that will drag you down financially. I don't believe in dating broke women at all. I don't think that anybody should get in a relationship with a woman that does not know how to take care of herself and do the minimum possible as an adult financially. There's no reason, in the same way that they hold men accountable and say you shouldn't be in a relationship if you broke, there's the same way that y'all need to be holding women accountable and saying you shouldn't be in a relationship until you fix yourself first, because there's nobody that should be able to save you out of your own situationship. This is my personal opinion.
Where I am today, I have created a budget for myself, and I'm using the YNAB app. It stands for You Need a Budget, I think. And so far, I used the app once, didn't get it. It was super confusing, deleted it, and then re-uploaded it. And so far I've been using it, and I think it's been spectacular. It's been a godsend. It is incredibly helpful, but I'm still struggling a lot. And these are my struggles.
this is why I felt like it was really hard to find somebody that I could relate to.
I'm gonna read that
because
super chat
in a lot
shortly.
of, I also belong to a lot of Reddit groups, and I watch like a lot of other different YouTube channels on this as of recently. And the reason why I feel like it's been hard to find somebody that I can relate to is because I suffer from body dysmorphic disorder.
Are y'all getting these same videos from the same type of people? Because yesterday we did a review video. And we had a woman that was getting her Uber Tesla repossessed. The Tesla she was using to do Uber in. And she was basically getting evicted out of her crib and getting her and all of this stuff. And then she went right into the same type of theory of I have body dysmorphic disorder or something. And I wound up looking it up on the internet to see exactly what it was. And it's all a piece of BS. Honestly, man. Honestly, that has nothing to do with your financial situation. And I'm not really sure how it's relevant, but I'm assuming that she's going to bring us back to the front of the congregation and help us to understand it.
Which is I don't know a ton about it, which is sad because I suffer from it, but it is a form of obsessive compulsive disorder, but you are obsessive about your appearance. And so, to be totally blunt, my excessive buying with makeup, with clothing, with shoes, with hair, with spray tanning is all due to low self-esteem. And
they got a description for everything. Everything is a disease. Everything is a disorder. No, you just want to impress people and you want to continue to put yourself forward and you don't want to make the sacrifice. And so you're trying to justify the way that you spend by saying that it's a disease. No, you just got a spending problem. Hey, what happened to the days where people could just get told straight up, hey man, listen, you just a basehead, bro. You keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Let's call it the definition of insanity. You a basehead. That's what they used to tell. Oh, what? Man, you're doing the same thing that these crackheads is doing on the street, except for you doing it when with your finances. Eventually, you're going to find yourself in the same space as them. And then it was scared straight. It wasn't all of this body dysmorphic disorder that you wasn't even diagnosed with, but you just assuming that that's what it is because you keep buying spray tan and eyeliner and all of this crap. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. You used to a certain lifestyle. Some other dude ruined you by allowing you to continue to simp out and simped out for you and allowing for you to not be responsible for your money. You trying to make an excuse and saying that you're not financially literate, but you was able to go and get a degree and then ultimately get a job in certain industries that then allow for you to be able to market effectively, but you don't know how to read and understand exactly what your budget is. I'm not going for it, bro. I don't care how cute you are. I'm not going for it.
that's a way to make me feel prettier, better about myself, and worthy. And the reason why I say I feel like I can't relate to a lot of people that I've seen, and maybe they just haven't expressed this on the video, is that they don't, the women especially that I've heard, don't especially seem to care so much about aesthetic or appearance. Like, it's fine to not, purchase clothing for a few years or like not get your hair done. And that, this is a problem of mine, I know, but this is incredibly important. And it's like,
Eddingale here. When I say that these things are important, what I mean to say is that these things are important to me, and not because I think that everybody should, dress well or whatever, take care of yourself or whatever, however you want to. What I mean is that if I'm not presented in a certain way that makes me feel comfortable, then the thoughts of feeling ugly take over my mind and feeling, which makes me feel undervalued.
I'm going to skip past all of this. I want to get to the shame part. Where's the shame?
And I just want to say one last thing is that I have a lot of shame and anxiety around this. In fact, nobody in my life, not even my partner, nobody knows.
Referring to him as your partner. Red flag on the play.
That I maxed out my 401k when I was in real estate to make ends meet.
The person that she with don't even know her financial status, but she's staying in their parents' bedroom. Jesus Christ. She just said, she told all of y'all, listen. She told all of us on the internet about the fact that she went broke and she ain't got no 401k. But the very person that she lay next to every day inside of his parents' house don't even know that this chick is broke and don't have no kind of retirement savings whatsoever. This is called financial abuse, y'all. Look, listen, this is called, y'all don't want to acknowledge it. Y'all try to act like men don't go through it, that we not surprised and all of that. Y'all want to know what we do for a living and how much we make. This is called financial abuse. She is in a relationship with a man that don't know nothing about her in real life. She could be a serial killer now, for all I know. Absolutely. This is called financial abuse. Azriel says he'll dump her quick. No, he not. No, he not. You know why? Because a new simp is found every single day, and it's one of the reasons why she feel compelled, in my personal opinion, to keep up her appearances, because she always need to be validated by somebody in her life that ultimately thinks that she's pretty, and she can use that in order to monkey branch over into the next guy that she's going to label her partner.
A lot of shame around it, and especially like draining my savings too. I have a ton of shame around this. And so instead of telling one person and exposing it, I'm literally telling the whole world.
This is basehead activity, in my opinion. So again, if y'all want to go and check out her channel, it's called Don't Be a Lemon. As of right now, it got 2,600 subscribers. But more importantly, I'm sure that there's a bunch of simps and supportive women in the chat that saying, it's okay. You're going to have this financial journey and we're going to take it with you. I'm in the same boat and I didn't tell my partner either. Crazy out in these streets. Anyways, let me read the rest of these super chats and then I got to go and catch a flight. Got to take care of some more work and then I got to go and catch a flight. Ken F says, AD, do you know if Trump supports police immunity and where can I find the primary sources to read it? Asking to check potentially fake information. I do not know, but it is something that I can more than likely cover next week if you guys want me to cover it. And we can go into it because a lot of people just spewing a lot of information like the Project 2025 stuff. They have not even read it and Trump is not even associated with it. So I got to go and do my own research before I speak extensively on it. So I'll go and research it and I'll talk about it next week. I like fried rice. G says, 80, good morning and happy Friday. Congratulations on your newest property. By the way, you're extremely motivating. How do you balance family time in it all? I don't. I don't balance family time. I just be working and taking care of business and being out here in these streets. One of the reasons why my wife decided that she didn't actually want to go and work or do anything for anybody else is because it gave her the opportunity to spend more time around me. Listen, I believe this and I believe this in my heart. Men are supposed to work. We are not supposed to be sitting around every single day, milling around, trying to spend some quality time around people. No, I'll spend time around you when I'm with you, and then we're going to have quality time, and we're going to make the most of it. We're going to have a fun time on this plane as we flying back and forth to Houston. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that women say that I want to spend more time with you, but then at the same time, we got a purpose. And so men back in the day, they was even gone. They was traveling for work. They would be gone taking care of business, and then sometimes they would be gone for years and then send up for their family. They would send the money back home. They would send up for their wife and their children to come and live with them after they established themselves when they went up north in order to get a job at the automotive plants and stuff like that. And so men have largely always been hunters and gatherers, and they've always been operating based off of taking care of business. Now we've gotten so comfortable with the technology and civilizing the world that we don't have to work as hard anymore unless you actually want to separate yourself from the pack. So I largely carry that same sentiment. It doesn't mean that I don't care and love for my family, and so I keep my people with me most of the places that I go. But then at the same time, I have a purpose. I have something that I have to take care of, and I'm not looking to have any balance, just to be very frank. I'm not trying to have any balance. I'm trying to take over the world and do what it is that I need to do and take care of business. I don't want balance. I just want to win. I mean, if you want me to be absolutely honest, I don't want balance. I want to win. And so I'll figure it out as I go. But, you know, I don't worry about that part of the life. I just take care of business and I work my ass off, and then I try to be very, very, very mindful of how it is that I spend my resources in order to ensure that the people around me is taken care of. Phenomenal question, but I got to be honest with y'all. The Gray Way is in the building, says broke people will spend money on material things just for a 5-second compliment, make it make sense. Absolutely. Courageous Stay says, happy TGIF. Time Dog, appreciate the coaching call. Still working on my 100 once, but I've made it close to 50. For your information, Anton is the same person on YouTube in real life. Looking forward to meeting a lot of new people over in Houston. It's going to be a fun time. Sister! Good day, Mr. AB and the Chasers fam. Have a super time this weekend. Praying for safe traveling. Mercies, much love. Thank you, sister. Oh, you so sweet. Well, listen, guys. I live stream for a lot longer than I normally would. I usually do a 2-hour show, but we did 2 hours and 24 minutes. It just flies by. Time flies when you're having fun, but I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. Should be a very, very, very fun time. And you guys are the greatest audience on earth, bar none. You are a phenomenal audience. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus a free gift. And I'm planning to do After Hours tonight unless something else come up, all right? So I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.